Hey Army! Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, you picked the perfect moment to show up. Because today, we are not talking about just any concert. We are talking about a historic moment. We are talking about a night that millions of ARMY members will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Yeah, BTS. Tampa, Raymond James Stadium. April 25th, 2026. More than 60,000 people. One stadium. 7 men who just came back from mandatory military service. And the result? Tampa burned. Literally and figuratively. In this video, we are going to break down everything that happened on day 1 of the Arirang World Tour in the United States. From the moment Jimin made an entire stadium go completely silent, to Suga's performance that, guys, there are no words. But we're going to try anyway. So get comfortable, grab your drink, and don't go anywhere, because this is going to be long. It's going to be detailed, and it is going to be absolutely worth every second. Before we dive into the wild moments, we need to talk about why this concert carries a weight that no other BTS concert before it has ever carried. This is not just a comeback tour. This is not just a new album cycle. This is the conclusion of a 4-year story that every single ARMY lived through together. This is the first world tour since all the members completed their mandatory military service in South Korea, which started back in 2022, and they finally all returned by mid-2025. Think about that for a second. For years. 4 years of ARMY waiting. 4 years without all 7 of these men on a stage together. 4 years of solo projects, of mixtapes, of individual growth, but no full BTS. And now, finally, here they are. The Arirang World Tour is BTS's 6th concert tour, supporting their 2026 studio album of the same name. The tour kicked off on April 9th, 2026, in Goyang, South Korea, and will run all the way through 2027, spanning more than 85 dates across 34 cities in 23 countries. Those numbers are not a joke. This is not a tour. This is a global expedition. And the album itself? The Arirang album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and produced a Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit called Swim. So when BTS arrived in America, they didn't come just as legends. They came as artists who are still actively dominating global charts. This comeback is not nostalgia. This is domination. And before Tampa, BTS had already set Tokyo on fire, drawing 111,000 fans across 2 sold-out nights at the Tokyo Dome, delivering high-energy performances of old favorites like Not Today and Mic Drop. So ARMY in Tampa already knew the bar was set impossibly high. But Tampa had something different. Tampa was the first city in the United States. And it was also the first time all 7 members ever performed together in Florida. The pressure? Enormous. The expectations? Through the roof. The reality? It surpassed everything. Now, before a single note was played, Tampa was already in absolute chaos, in the most beautiful way possible. Mayor Jane Castor announced a special citywide celebration, with several iconic landmarks including Old City Hall and the downtown bridges glowing purple from April 25th through April 29th, 2026. A city, lighting up its landmarks. For BTS, if that is not proof of what ARMY means to the world, I don't know what is. Merchandise tents outside the venue sold out almost instantly, with limited edition tour items becoming collector's pieces on the spot. Traffic around Raymond James Stadium was so heavy that Tampa Bay Boulevard had to be closed, and fans were widely advised to use rideshares or arrive very early to avoid the chaos. And the dedication of the fans? This is the part that genuinely gives me chills. Many ARMY members traveled from across the entire United States and internationally, with some camping outside the stadium just to get merchandise and the best possible spots. Pop-up events, BTS-themed shops, and fan meetups completely transformed Tampa into a K-pop hotspot unlike anything the city had ever seen before. There was a story that went viral on Twitter. A fan from Brazil who had been saving money for 2 full years just to be able to attend the Tampa show. 2 years of saving. And she made it. If that is not true love, I genuinely do not know what is. The atmosphere blended excitement with something deeper, nostalgia, relief, disbelief. Longtime fans talked about following the group since their debut, while newer ARMY members were celebrating their very first live BTS experience. Stories of friendships formed online finally becoming real in person flooded every corner of social media. A group of international fans from South America shared how this tour represented hope for them after years and years of waiting. This was not a concert. This was a family reunion. Okay, now, this is what you've all been waiting for. BTS exploded onto the Raymond James Stadium stage and launched the North American leg of the Arirang World Tour with a dazzling, emotion-packed performance that drew more than 60,000 screaming fans to the first of 3 sold-out shows in Florida. Imagine that. 60,000 people in one stadium, all screaming at the exact same time. Opening with powerful anthems like Not Today and Mic Drop, the members showcased razor-sharp choreography, live vocals, and a chemistry between them that no amount of time apart could ever diminish. Guys, Not Today as an opener? That is like someone throwing a bomb into the center of a stadium. Everyone was immediately on, immediately electric. Purple light sticks moved in perfect synchronization like a massive glowing wave. And from the very first second, it was crystal clear. BTS has not lost a single drop of their power. The show featured a 360-degree stage setup, which meant there was no bad angle anywhere in that stadium. Everyone felt like they were in the front row. Everyone felt like BTS was performing specifically for them. And then something happened that nobody predicted. The surprise inclusion of Permission to Dance sent the crowd into an absolute frenzy early in the set. Permission to Dance. Guys, that song carries a completely different meaning now. After the pandemic, after the military service, after everything we all went through together. When that melody started, thousands of people cried. Thousands of people jumped. Thousands of people did both at the same time. Okay, now it is time to talk about Jimin. If you've been in ARMY for any length of time, you already know when Jimin has his solo moment on stage, the world stops. And in Tampa, that happened on a level that has never been seen before. Jimin's solo moments drew the loudest roars from the entire crowd. But the context here is important. Jimin didn't come to Tampa just as a member of BTS. He came as an artist who proved himself through extraordinary solo work during the hiatus years. He came with a different kind of confidence, a different kind of maturity, and that was visible on stage. Every movement was more precise. Every expression was deeper. Every note he sang carried the weight of 4 years of longing, from him to ARMY, and from ARMY back to him. There was a video circulating on Twitter, a woman in the 5th row from the front, who had been standing since noon to secure her spot, who began crying silently the moment Jimin started his solo performance. Not hysterical crying, deep crying. The kind of crying that has been building for years and finally has somewhere to go. That is the power of Park Jimin. And what made the moment even more special was his interaction with the audience. In the middle of his performance, he paused, his eyes slowly sweeping across the entire stadium, and said simply in English, "I missed you so much." 60,000 people responded as one. "We missed you more." Guys, if you didn't get emotional just reading that, please check your pulse. If Jimin was the tears, then Suga was the fire. Min Yoongi came to Tampa with something to prove. Not to the world, to himself. Because of all the BTS members, his military journey was perhaps the most physically challenging. A shoulder injury, surgery, rehabilitation. Many people quietly worried that he might never perform quite the same way again. Tampa answered every single one of those worries with a very loud, very clear no. When Suga picked up the microphone for his rap sections, the entire stadium shifted. The energy changed. It got heavier, more intense, like the air pressure in the arena itself had transformed. His lyrics were sharp as a blade. His delivery was surgical in its precision. And the execution? Flawless. Perfect. Like he never left. There was a particular moment, and this is the one that went absolutely viral across every platform. When Suga stepped slightly outside the standard choreography, looked directly into the camera, and delivered a line that felt like he wrote it specifically for that exact night in Tampa. The crowd's reaction? Explosive. People in the pit could barely stay on their feet because the energy radiating off the stage was physically overwhelming. Among the 7 members of BTS, Suga is the one most often described as the musical soul of the group. He is the one who writes the most honest songs. He is the one who transforms genuine pain into genuine art. And that night in Tampa, Everyone who had ever quietly wondered whether he still had it got an answer that was loud, clear, and absolutely undeniable. Yes, he still has it. More than ever before. Tampa was not only about Jimin and Suga, of course. This is BTS, 7 people each of whom is a star in their own right. Jungkook's soaring vocals drew massive roars from the crowd as well. The Golden Magne arrived in Tampa with the aura of a man who has walked through fire and come out stronger on the other side. There is a maturity now in the way he carries himself on stage. And when he opens his mouth to sing, his voice fills Raymond James Stadium like it was architecturally designed specifically for him. RM, as the leader, delivered what he always delivers at concerts: groundedness, stability. When everything around him was chaos and raw energy, RM was the anchor. His short speech to the crowd, half English and half Korean, drew a long-standing ovation that simply refused to stop. Jin performed with his signature warmth and humor. There was a moment when he stumbled slightly in a choreography transition, and instead of panicking, he laughed, and the entire stadium laughed with him. That was a deeply human moment that reminded everyone, these are not robots on stage. These are real people who genuinely love us. Jhope? One word: energy. This man is like a battery that never runs out. Every time he appeared on stage, the entire surrounding atmosphere elevated to another level. His smile was contagious. His movements were immaculate. And the joy he brought, that was genuine. That was real. V performed with the artistic intensity that has become his signature. There were several moments when the camera caught his expression mid-performance, and it was art. Pure and simple. He was not just singing a song. He was becoming the song. From the Arirang album itself, Body to Body became one of the absolute peaks of the night. Integrating the traditional Korean folk melody of Arirang into the track, the group sparked a stadium-wide chorus that extended far beyond their own vocals on stage. Imagine 60,000 people singing the Arirang melody together. In a stadium in Florida, United States of America. The hair on your arms should be standing just imagining that. Now let's talk numbers for a moment, because sometimes numbers speak louder than words. Local businesses reported a surge in visitors, with the economic impact estimated at millions of dollars across just the 3 nights of BTS in Tampa. Tickets for their shows in South Korea, North America, and Europe sold out within just a few hours of the pre-sale and general sale opening. A few hours. For 85 dates across 34 cities. That is a number that should not be possible, and yet here we are. For those who couldn't get tickets and were watching from home, the tour also included live cinema broadcasts, so more ARMY members around the world could still feel part of the experience. And resale options were circulating on platforms like StubHub, ranging from around $86 all the way up to $620, depending on the seat and demand. After the concert ended, social media? Destroyed. In the most beautiful way imaginable. Twitter and X were immediately flooded with BTS Tampa hashtags, trending in dozens of countries simultaneously. TikTok was overwhelmed with reaction videos. People crying, people screaming, people just sitting completely still with their hands over their faces because they could not process what they had just witnessed. Stories of online friendships finally becoming real in person filled every corner of the internet. International fans from South America shared how this tour represented hope for them after years of waiting and dreaming. There was a thread on Twitter that went massively viral, an ARMY member sharing that they first heard BTS during the darkest period of their entire life. That BTS songs were what helped them survive. And that night in Tampa, finally standing in the same space as the people whose music saved them, they could only say, "I made it here." Guys, that is BTS. Not just music, not just a concert, but a genuine, real human connection formed through art. And Suga, who has written openly about his own struggles with mental health over the years. He understands every single one of those tweets, every single one of those stories, more than anyone. So if day 1 was already this intense, what can we possibly expect from day 2 on April 26th and day 3 on April 28th? The Tampa setlist already included 2 surprise songs that had never been performed at any of the previous tour stops. That means BTS is actively changing their setlist for each city, for each occasion. No 2 shows are identical. For day 2 and 3, the speculation within the ARMY community is absolutely wild. Some are hoping for more member collaboration moments. Some are hoping for surprise guest appearances. Some are hoping for deep-cut old songs that haven't been performed live in years. What is certain is this: BTS will not give anything less than everything they have. That has been proven over more than a decade. And it was proven again last night in Tampa. After Florida, they are scheduled to perform in El Paso, then Mexico City, then Stanford, and then Las Vegas throughout May. So if you missed Tampa, there are still chances coming your way. Guys, I have watched hundreds of concert videos in my life. I have followed BTS since they first appeared on the international radar. And I can say with complete confidence that what happened in Tampa last night was not just a concert. It was a statement. A statement from 7 Korean men saying, "We completed our duty. We went through the test. And now we are back. Stronger, more mature, more united than ever before." The message from Raymond James Stadium is clear. ARMY and BTS are stronger together, turning stadiums into seas of purple and creating memories that will last a lifetime. Jimin and Suga set Tampa on fire? Yes, but it wasn't just them. BTS, all 7 of them, burned Tampa to the ground together. And that fire is nowhere close to going out. Day 2 is almost here. And I, and all of you, and 60,000 other people cannot wait. If this video was helpful or got you even a little emotional, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications, because I will be updating this channel every single day while BTS is in Tampa. Drop in the comments, which member's performance are you most excited about? Jimin? Suga? Or is there another member who has you absolutely losing your mind? I read every single comment. See you in the next one. Sarangi, ARMY, Purple Heart.